Chinese literature primarily reflects the culture, customs, and tradition of the Chinese people from the ancient times up to the modern times. So let us have an overview about the Chinese history. The development of Chinese writing started during Shang Dynasty, and no documents from this era survived. But there are archaeological finds of hieroglyphic writing on bronze wares and oracle bones. The hieroglyphic writing system later evolved into ideographic and partly phonetic Chinese characters. The Zhou dynasty conquered the Shang dynasty, and this was when basic philosophical and religious literature emerged. And it includes here the emergence of Confucian literature and other prominent religious and philosophical schools. This became the basis for Chinese religious and social beliefs. In Chinese history, the dominant rulers generally discouraged philosophical expression that contradict their own. So when there were several small powers, different schools of thought could survive. The literary works in this era deeply shaped Chinese philosophy and religion. Then, this era was conquered by the Qin dynasty, and this is the period of literary disaster and legalism. The Qin emperor had the authority of what he wanted to keep, and he ordered the destruction of most books all over the empire. He even killed many Confucian philosophers and teachers. He also standardized the written classical language. In this era, a favored philosophical school by the Qin emperor was called legalism. He believed that human nature was naturally selfish and that a strong emperor government with strict laws was needed for social order. The Qin emperor was overthrown and Han dynasty took place. It is the occurrence of scientific and historical texts. This was when Confucianism was revived. Confucian texts were rewritten and republished. Confucianism was mixed with legalism and influenced more the political thinking afterwards. After this is the Tang Dynasty. This is the emergence of early woodblock printing and poetry. It followed by the Song Dynasty, which deals with early woodblock printing, travel literature, poetry, scientific texts, and the Neo-Confucian classics. This dynasty made remarkable scientific advances, having printed material that could be published more quickly and cheaply are one of this era's technological accomplishments. The next dynasty contributed drama and great fictional novels in the Chinese literature history, which is the Yuan dynasty. Then the Ming dynasty focused on novels, since it has connection with the previous era. After Ming dynasty, the Qing dynasty took place, and this is the last dynasty in Chinese history. This is the period wherein it focused on novels also and pre-modern literature. In this period, foreign literature emerged and the West became better known. They were influenced by the Western culture. Students started to travel abroad to study, and schools built by missionaries educated tens of thousands of students. There was a general sense of crisis, and intellectuals started translating foreign works on science, politics, and literature. These were popular, and the culture started to change. Some writers produced fiction more like Western fiction. The modern era started from 1912 up to now. This is the era for westernized literature, Of course, the big change of Chinese society that happened with the change of government led to a change in literature. It became westernized and the classical language wasn't used until about 1923. There was a new culture movement, and writers generally wanted to lead the way in transforming China into a modern industrialized country and replacing Confucian lifestyle with a westernized one. Now let us discuss Confucianism. Confucianism is propagated by Confucius. He is not the founder of Confucianism, although it was named after him. Why? It is because the idea of it already existed before Confucius. There is already a way of living, a social code, or ethical values that people followed or believed. It is just that he actually wanted to preserve these teachings, so he made a lot of works for it. He considered himself a transmitter which aimed to bring back to life the meaning of the past in order to keep the teaching into existence. The philosophy of Confucius emphasized personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationships, justice, and sincerity. This teaching is followed by most of the Chinese people for more than 2 millennia. This may have changed over time, but it is still a social code, a way of living, or a source of values that people may still believe until now, especially by the Chinese people. It also influenced other countries such as Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. This started during the Sui dynasty, and Confucianism, together with other writings that occurred during this period, had deeply shaped Chinese philosophy and religion. When the Qin dynasty took place, the emperor ordered to burn all the literature that exists during the previous dynasty and ordered to kill the Confucian philosophers and teachers. This is the reason why this period is called the literary disaster. Okay, the Qin dynasty. And Confucianism only survived when Han dynasty took place. Then, let us discuss about the Analects of Confucius. This is one of the four books that contains Confucius-related material which were compiled during the Southern Song era. This is a book of pithy sayings, teachings, and thoughts attributed to Confucius and recorded by his disciples. Actually, these are four books, including Mencius, which that is a collection of political dialogues attributed to Mencius. The Doctrine of the Mean, The Great Learning, that is a book about education, self-cultivation, and the Tao. A wife mourns for her husband. So this is one of the works that belongs to the Analects of Confucius. So let me read it. A wife mourns for her husband. The dolichos grows and covers the thorn. Over the waste is the dragon plant creeping. The man of my heart is away and I mourn. What home of I, lonely and weeping? Covering the jujubes, the dolichos grows. The graves many dragon plants cover. But where is the man on whose breast I repose? No home have I, having no lover. Fair to see was the pillow of horn, and fair the bedchambers adorning. But the man of my heart is not here, and I mourn, all alone, and wait for the morning. While the long days of summer pass over my head, and long winter nights leave their traces. I'm alone, till 100 of years shall have fled, and then I shall meet his embraces. Through the long winter nights I am burdened with fears, through the long summer days I am lonely. But when time shall have counted its hundreds of years, I then shall be his and his only. So this poem, as you can read and notice, these were rhyming words in every line, and it consists of 5 lines with 4 stanzas. Since this is one of the works which belongs to the Analects of Confucius, the statements or phrases that were used are usually simple and like common sense. This is the reason why they said that Analects of Confucius are good for foreigners because it contains easy to understand text. So in this case, this poem could be all about longing for someone as how the wife in the poem longs for her husband. And now let us talk about the 100 schools of thought. The Chinese call this simultaneous emergence of religions and philosophies. These are Confucianism, Mohism, Taoism, and legalism. The first one is Confucianism. It consists of a set of moral code on basis of 5 merits: benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness. Among them, benevolence was considered as the cornerstone, which stands for faithfulness, filial piety, tolerance, and kindness. Through this teaching, Confucius requested people to keep in good harmony with each other and establish a community ruled by standard manners and behavior. Then, Mohism. The Muism was founded by Mozi, flourished in the latter half of the 5th century. It resembles Confucianism in its reverence for humanism. Master Mu called for a universal love encompassing all human beings in equal degree. He suggested a harmonious relationship between people on a reciprocal basis. Thus he was an assertor of unionism, who suggested a practice of a political relationship of mutual benefit or dependence between states. Next is the Taoism. The Taoism was founded by Lao Tzu, or also known as Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu put forward a dialectic view, which is good fortune follows upon disaster, disaster lurks within good fortune. He tried to tell people not to exaggerate the importance of man too much because human life is only a small part of the universal, and the only way can human actions make sense is to act in accord with the principles of the nature. It showed an integral concept of Taoism, the withdrawal from the worldly affairs and the self-cultivation. The last one among the 100 schools of thought is the legalism. Legalist school sought by every means possible to strengthen the state and increase its military might. It began to take shape late in the 4th century. Legalism in ancient China was a philosophical belief that human beings are more inclined to do wrong than right because they are motivated entirely by self-interest and require strict laws to control their impulses. That's how legalism works.